noted the following. The class is a standalone project and was completed for occupation. However, it was vandalized, leaving it in state that cannot be used by the learners. The center is not secured in that it is not fenced off, thus exposing it to vandalism. And number 3, it lacks amenities like offices, washrooms, kitchenette for both the learners and the teachers. Honorable Speaker, the department has reported that has been completed and paid. We have D, the 4th class, Tangu ECD class. Honorable Speaker, this class is located in Kangundo West Ward. It is complete and functional, contrary to the department's report indicating that the contractor had pulled out, that the project had stalled, and that no payment was done. Honorable Speaker, this center is a standalone and has amenities like toilet for the learners and teachers. It also has a small kitchenette made of only iron sheets for preparing meals. Honorable Speaker, for preparing meals for the learners. Honorable Speaker, the department had reported that the contractor pulled out. E, Matetani ECD class. Honorable Speaker, the class is located in Kabuto Central Ward. It was allocated a budget of 1 million and actual costing of the class was 980,454 shillings. Honorable Speaker, during site visit, the committee noted the following. The project had stalled, and at that time of site visit, the contractor was not on site. Members observed that the class was done up to the roofing stage. Doors and windows grille were fitted with no window panes, and the inner wall was not plastered. 2, the committee was informed that the department had constructed the classroom up to the lintel level, and later the former member of County Assembly had done a roofing level which is not up to standard. Honorable Speaker, the department had reported that the contractor pulled out. We have F. Kangundo DB ECD class. Honorable Speaker, the center is located in Kangundo Central Ward, which was allocated a budget of 1 million, and the actual costing of the class was 980,454. Honorable Speaker, during the site visit, the committee noted the following. The project had stalled by the time of visit, and members were informed that the project had delayed for almost 3 years. 2, the committee noted the class had been done up to the lintel level. The committee found out that the department had initiated construction of a new class, which was at foundation level at the time of visit. Honorable Speaker, the department had reported that the ECD class project had been re-advertised. We have G. Kivani Township ECD class. Honorable Speaker, the center is located in Kangundo East Ward. It had a budget of allocation of 1 million and to be done at the cost of 987,630. Honorable Speaker, during site visit, the committee noted the following. The Department of Education and ECD Services had visited the school and the shown site for constructing the class. However, the construction never commenced. The ECD learners are using a class donated by the primary school. Honorable Speaker, the department had reported that the ECD class was complete. H. Uwaini ECD class. Honorable Speaker, the center is located in Masinga Central Ward and was allocated a budget of 1 million, and the actual costing of the class was 999,989 shillings. Honorable Speaker, during site visits, the committee noted the following. 1, the class has been constructed up to the walling stage at the window level. 2, it's a standalone center and is not secured. 3, the ECD learners are using a class that was constructed by the parents. Honorable Speaker, the department had reported that the ECD class project was pending cancellation. We have Kaswangove ECD class. Honorable Speaker, the committee visited the committee visited Masinga Central Ward and found that there was no ECD center by the name, contrary to the report given by the department that the class was awarded to one contractor by the name Samprosive Works Limited and was pending cancellation. Other stalled ECD classes. Honorable Speaker, due to time constraint, the committee was not able to visit the remaining 8 stalled classes. These classes include Chambuko ECD in Machakos Central Ward, Osiomomo ECD class in Machakos Central Ward, Tumutumu ECD class Nivini Ward, Mwendwa ECD class in Mudesa Ward, Elandi ECD class in Masinga Central Ward, Matungo ECD class, Masinga Central Ward, Mathunya ECD class, Mitaboni Ward, Chamabu ECD class in Masinga Central Ward. I'll go to the committee recommendations. Committee observations, page 15 of our report. Committee observations. Honorable Speaker, the committee made the following observations. 1, the department failed to facilitate the committee with required information even after several requests as indicated in the report, thus contravening section Article 183, Suborder 3 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. 2, that some of the stalled ECD classes were abandoned at walling stage of construction, like in case of Uvaini ECD class in Masinga Central Ward. This prompted the committee to conclude that ECD projects were mismanaged, which led to stalling of the ECD class despite having a budget and timelines to complete the classes, hence poor workmanship. 3, that there are some ECD centers installed. The department had initiated new classes without completing the stalled ones. For example, Kangundo DB Primary. 4, that award letters for some contractors had fewer ECD classes, awarding vice versa the payment voucher, which had more ECD classes paid. Observation derived from the procurement documents available by the CECM before the committee. 5, that in some instances the report indicated ECD classes are complete, but during visit, the committee established that there was no existing ECD class, citing the case of Kasinga in Bumbuni North ECD. 6, that some classes constructed did not meet safety standards. For instance, the roofing was done using poor quality of timber and was failing off, like Mungala in Munguni North Ward and AIC Mateta and ECDs in Kangundo Central Ward, where the classes have never been occupied for the fear of posing danger to the learners. 7, that some standalone ECD centers had been vandalized even before occupation during the lack of security around the ECD centers. On an example, Kadama ECD Center in Muvuti, Kimakimu Ward. During interrogation of the report by the committee, it came out that there are other stalled ECD classes that were not captured in the report from the department, citing an example of Metuma in Mutituni Ward and Kikule in Mudesa Ward. Honorable Speaker, in regard to the above observations, the committee made the following recommendations. 1, the committee recommends that the county assembly opens an inquiry within 30 days of tabling of the report to consider the issue surrounding the stalled ECD classes and report back to the House. 2, that within 14 working days after tabling the report, the chief officer to give a clear direction and guidelines on how the stalled ECD centers will be completed. 3, that due procedure, be followed whenever a case of change of location of an ECD class arises. This will avoid misinformation of status of the projects and ensure fair distribution of the classes within the county. 6, that contractors who were given projects and pulled out before completion within a written notice and justifiable reason should be blacklisted and ought not to be awarded contracts by the county. And the last one, that the ECD classes that are substandard ought to be returned to the set standards so that they can be used for intended purpose. Conclusion. Early childhood offers critical window of opportunity to shape the trajectory of a child holistic development and build foundation for the future. Early childhood is important for promoting the cognitive development of a child, fostering their social skills, and introducing the child into numeracy and literary skills. Quality early childhood education programs have been shown to significantly benefit children's development, and the county government should invest adequately in ECD because it plays an essential in promoting equity, enhancing child development, boosting economic productivity, and building a stronger society for the future. Acknowledgement. Honorable Speaker, the Committee on Education is grateful to your office and that of the Clerk of the County Assembly for the continuous and relentless support throughout the entire process of compiling this report. Allow me to also thank the committee members for their dedication during site visits and committee sittings. Further, the committee acknowledged support given by the committee secretariat in the compilation of this report. It is therefore my duty on behalf of the Education and Social Services Committee to table the report on status of ECD, stalled ECD classes in Machakos County for a period between 2014 and 2021 and recommend it to this Honorable House for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Honorable Anastasia. Members, it is our turn now to debate this motion. I invite contributions. Honorable Maitha.
Madam Speaker, thank you. No, yesterday evening, we were all as Kenyans glued to our TVs in whatever was happening in the National Assembly. And, Madam Speaker, at some point, it looked like a movie, which indeed was a reality. Madam Speaker, there are some things you could see on the prosecution of the matter and presentation of evidence, and then you ask yourself, what kind of a country are we living in? Madam Speaker, I'm so perplexed by this report. It leaves you to even ask yourself, what country are we living in? As leaders, we even need to ask ourselves further, is this the kind of a country that we need to have? But I'm thinking when such a report comes and lands in the floor of this House, you even ask yourself, honestly, do we have people who have humanity in this country? Do we have leaders who care for the growth and development of this country? Madam Speaker, this report is very disturbing. How would a county government officer employed and paid by taxpayers' money proceed and make a payment for a project that is not complete, and proceed and even table a report before this assembly and say that project was completed and paid? Yet when the committee went to the ground, the information is as it is here, Madam Speaker. I would not even wish to anticipate debate. I want to give even an example of a report that came in my committee, in the committee, one of our committees that I will not even mention, a day before yesterday. And then a report that was requested and forwarding letters brought to the committee. And then at the end of the day, we were not satisfied with the report, Madam Speaker. And then all of a sudden, the same accounting officers come to the floor of the committee and disown the report and say the figures on the report are not actual. Madam Speaker, it is not any way different from this report, probably. Once we take stern action, you might see the same this department saying, oh, this report had errors, this report needs to be looked into, we will give you the actual report. Yet the committee went on the ground, Madam Speaker, and ascertained the status of the structures vis-a-vis the report that they have is totally different. Madam Speaker, actually, even without much debate on this report, I wish that even the committee, with their guidance, would just proceed and give us the report for the 8 other stalled facility units that they never managed to go on. If you go to page 12, the committee is saying, Honorable Speaker, due to time constraints, the committee was not able to visit the remaining 8 stalled ACDs. I will not even need to mention them in page 8. In fact, Madam Speaker, let us give the committee the liberty of time. They go and do the fine research and visit to these stalled classes and give us a conclusive report, Madam Speaker, so that we can make a determination that will serve as an example to officers sitting in county government offices paid by taxpayer money. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Mheshimiwa Ngunga, the Honorable Mheshimiwa Douglas, the Honorable Mheshimiwa from Uvuti, these are contractors. The Honorable, my great friend, Mheshimiwa Ngwin, and many of us here are contractors, Madam Speaker. Getting even the contract documents is so tedious. Giving an acceptance, a bid bond, a confirmation that you're going to do that contract, it's quite tedious. Proceeding to the ground, finishing the work, getting certificates from the Department of Public Works, Madam Speaker, proceeding to the Department of Accounts and being paid to go and enjoy the proceeds of your hard work. It is so tedious, Madam Speaker. How did an ECD class, as many have been mentioned here, got a completion certificate and went ahead to have a payment authorized? Madam Speaker, this is an outright and serious joke. In fact, Madam Speaker, I would request that because this report is self-explanatory, can we just get the report of the other 8 classes and we make a conclusive determination? Somebody must be held accountable. Unless that person, Madam Speaker, is 8 foot down, that is the only time that you can say that person has had the benefit of the rule of law. But as far as that person is living, Madam Speaker, whether working with Machakos counter cell in any government, that person must be held accountable. Government documentation and information never goes to waste. This is so disgusting, Madam Speaker. And if I happen to find myself in such a mess, I will never better be alive. I will better be dead than living. This is so absent. It is unacceptable. And this House now must stand and stamp authority so that such kind of punitive and reckless undertakings will never happen in the county government of Machakos. Not even in the county government of Machakos. In this country known as Kenya, you cannot proceed and pay for what that has not been done. Finally, how do you proceed and identify another structure in an area where there is an existing structure that is incomplete? It means, Madam Speaker, we have inefficient, unqualified, and very careless officers, some officers in our county government. It is very unfortunate. When you go through this report, Madam Speaker, it leaves you wondering, do we have leaders? Do we have people who love their country? It is a big no. This is so sad. If you can proceed and make a payment for that has not been done, I pity this country and this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Maitha. There's something you pointed out and it caught my eye, that we have actually 8 more centers that were not reached for investigation. And I was just wondering in my mind whether it is going to be okay for us to proceed with this debate when we already have other bit of the same report remaining out there, and it is not with us here. And whether it is, we can proceed with the debate, I'm putting it to you, and then we get, it's like we all have answers there. A clarification. Okay, proceed.
I hope these will not
I'll give everybody an opportunity.
will not mean that I have contributed. I'm giving a clarification, Madam Speaker.
Clarification.
Thank you. Madam Speaker,
That's what you say.
as Honorable Member from Mugwani was contributing, I saw the Leader Majority call former Leader Majority. They have consulted, and when he came back to the seat, he also consulted with me. These projects, the report, all the report says these are stored projects from the year 2024 to 2021. 2014 to 2021. I want to make a clarification that these classes were done in the year 2018 to 2019, financial year 2018 to 2019, and that is the time. And the former members of the Second Assembly will agree with me. This is the time when the then governor agreed with the members, the elected members, that they identify projects which should be done when they were awarded 10 million each. This is when these projects were done. So that is a clarification I want you to make. Madam Speaker, I'm saying this. Why am I making this clarification? Madam Speaker, protection, I finish. Protection, I finish. Allow me finish. Allow me finish. Allow me finish. Madam Speaker,
point of information, Honorable Speaker. Point of information. Point of information. Point of information, Honorable Speaker.
Members, order members.
Point of information, Honorable Speaker.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Members.
Oh,
Order.
allow me finish, Madam Speaker.
You will continue preceding us.
Honorable Speaker. Point of information, Honorable Speaker.
I said order members.
Just want to inform,
What?
if you allow.
No, I'm not allowing. I'm saying that he only said he wanted to clarify.
It's misleading. It's misleading. It's misleading.
Hey, let him mislead.
No. Honorable Speaker, we cannot allow. The electorates are watching. The electorates are
Madam
watching.
Speaker, I'm not misleading the House. Madam Speaker,
Honorable Speaker.
Madam Speaker,
Point of order. People are watching.
Point of information,
Honorable Speaker.
Point of order, Madam.
Madam Speaker, honorable members, Madam Speaker, we need to stop these jokes going forward. The member had the opportunity to disseminate that information at the committee level. It is not the business of this House to know who was supposed to do what and when. It is the business of this House to grant justice to the people of Machakos because their resources were used. This honorable member is misleading this House. We don't care who was given that contract. We don't care what information, what agreements were there. What we care is the report as it is in the House. He would have disseminated and argued that in the floor of the House, in the floor of the committee, and if not agreed by the committee, we could have an amended report. He is misleading this House, my brother.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to maybe air my point on that, but I would be asking the first majority leader of this House whether it's actually orderly for him to come and deny a report that is set, a committee that you sit, because this is a report of the Committee on Education. And I am aware that the Honorable Monga, member for Masinga, where 2 classes have stored, sits in that committee. Did he find it wise to raise those issues at the level of the committee before the report finds its way to this House? In other words, members, are we discussing a partial report or is it a cooked report? If Honorable Monga really said in that committee, therefore, Madam Speaker, are you telling us this committee, this report is admissible? Does it meet the threshold? If the members do not agree, then why did they have to bring it over here?
Further information, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker,
Further information.
allow me to respond on that.
Now, then Honorable DS, Honorable Majority, then I will make a ruling on the points.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Judas Dawa, the member representing the great people of Matuma. Honorable Speaker, concerning the report before the House, the committee chair is very clear that these are projects which started in 2014 up to 2021. Honorable Monga here, who is a member of that committee, is trying to undo what the committee has agreed on. And he's a member. Honorable Speaker, yesterday we were talking about placing members in the committees. And we said, members, let them do their job. Let them be active in their committees. So that when the reports come here, they are owned by each and every member. So Honorable Monga, I think you are the best person, together with Mheshimiwa Dominic Maitha, because you sat in this house 2014, you were here, together with Mheshimiwa Katanga and other members here. And these projects, some were done that particular time. You are, yes, others were done during our time. Whatever was done during our time, we can be able to tell, because we are here, we are not strangers in this house. So, Honorable Speaker, what I've seen in this report, what I've seen, I think there is no need of continuing this report. And that is my need. Let us wait for the committee to go and provide the full report, the status, so that whatever has been left out is also captured. And the committee should understand that they are also given powers by Article 183, which says the committee, together with the House, have power to summon any person to give information. Whether information is held by institution or is held by a person, the committee gives that right. So, Honorable Speaker, I make an application that you rule that we defer this committee, this report, until the committee completes and bring the complete report. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ndawa. Honorable DS, then Honorable Majority, then I make a ruling. Honorable Katang, maybe.
Thank you.
You are there in the first.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I thought the member who was saying that is correcting the report, I was expecting him to do the corrections. Yeah, he was trying to make some clarifications. Yet, to me, he was in fact debating the same report. That amounted to debating of the report. I thought maybe the member could have corrected some issues that I've also noticed, that like in page 12, Yeland ECD class, I don't think it lies in Masinga Central Ward. I believe that's in Kiva. Those are some of the corrections that he ought to have done, because that is his old at committee, and also at committee level. Also, Matungo ECD class still is an ECD in Kiva ward, not in his own ward. Those are some of the things that I thought he was to correct, but what he did was just debating the report, Madam Speaker. I also applaud and support that. Because of this, some of these errors, I also support that let the committee go back, identify all the classes. I've also seen one in Kalakala, it's Rikoni CD class. Let the committee be allowed to go back and come with the complete reports that this House makes a decision based on factuals. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would want to support what the minority leader has said, that this is an incomplete report. I found it very cheeky of the committee to travel to Masinga to check on an ECD class, while I have one in Chambuko and Kusio Momo, which is barely 5 kilometers but they chose to go all over.
Madam Speaker, I think Masinga still lies in Machakos County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That's why I'm saying I found it a little bit cheeky for them to choose a longer distance than a shorter distance. But also what I would want to...
Charity begins at home, isn't it?
Charity begins at home. Madam Speaker is saying charity begins at home, which should have been considered.
It's okay.
But also what I also want to bring into a point is, for those members who are affected, I think it is good for the committee when you are visiting all the members, so that they go and also contribute in the report writing. I think it is necessary. So I pray that you make a determination that they go back and complete the work, and so that we have a full report. And also, it is not for this house to know the name of contractors or even to try to investigate, but it is the business of this house to ensure public resources are used in an accountable manner. So, Mheshimiwa Mwanga, even if it is the time MCAs were given the 10 million, that is not the point. The point is an ECD class, if it is not complete, it is not complete, irrespective of who did it. And we want to them, if there were some MCAs who are part and parcel of doing the work, the judgment is the same. Public money must be accounted for. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Maybe an addition, Madam Speaker. Small addition.
Honorable Katangi, 001.
Madam Speaker, thank you for catching my hand.
Wait, proceed.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I wish to give my input on the discussion on the table, and it is that members are requesting that we throw this report over the window, or we invite it back to the committee, but I am of a different opinion. Madam Speaker, the Committee on Education did a very good work as much as their work is concerned, and I believe they sampled different areas to get to know the status of our ECD centers within the county. And that's why they did not go to Machakos, but we went all the way to Masinga, Yatta, and anywhere else.
Point of order. Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Please protect me, I finish. Madam Speaker.
I think the honourable member doesn't understand the severity of this matter. You cannot sample and assume whether a classroom was completed or not. We have to be actual, unless we want to start gambling on classes that were not completed. For example, the level of completion is different. There is a class that is at 90% completed, and there is a class that is 5% completed. And another one not exactly. So we must get our facts right, so that when we are holding people accountable, you are telling them you did not complete 9 classes.
It's not a point of order, Madam.
Unfortunately, it was granted, and if you want to ask Madam Speaker, thank you.
Actually,
All the submit has been taken.
Point of information,
Madam Speaker, please protect me. I finish my.
Honorable
Let me
Speaker.
finish.
Let the honorable member finish.
Honorable,
finish.
I thought after every application a ruling is given, and we made
I
an
want to make
application.
one ruling because I'm
Okay, thank you,
picking
thank you, madam.
information from everybody.
Madam Speaker, my point was this. This is a report that has been tabled in the House, and only 8 centers has not been visited. Is there any harm if the committee goes back to get the status of other ECD, those 8 ECD centers, then we discuss this report and finalize with it today? What will be the harm of the committee going to do those 8 centers alone and bring another report? Why can we finish with this very important report and all the people accountable? Because already the report is not incomplete. Only that they have not visited those 8 centers. They can go bring another report for those 8 centers. Then we deal with this report on the table, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you realize that we are dealing with serious things here. Loss of public funds.
yes.
That has been paid to contractors who have done nothing on ground. Why would you wait and get more time for these documents to be altered, anything to be done? Why can't we deal with this report on the table, then the committee goes back and bring a report for the other remaining 8? That's my contribution, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker,
Thank you.
if you allow, Honorable Speaker, before you make a determination, I want to make this comment. If you look at the report, the chairperson, together with the committee, are telling us that the information they got from the department is different from what they found on the ground. So that means we have two contradicting what? Information. So, Honorable Speaker, it would be prudent, or it would be fair enough, if we gather all information, so that as we handle with this thing, we may end up shooting this motion down. We may end up shooting, because that is the only way.
Honorable Anastasia, then I make a ruling. Let me make a ruling on this matter. Okay, let us hear her. Then I'll give you an opportunity.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, I would like to thank the Education Committee, because this is a matter that we've dealt with it for a very long time. We've scrutinized so many things, Madam Speaker, including even the procurement process. And the committee was very dedicated. Actually, every member of the committee, including Honorable Monga, who is misleading the House, was all present for this project that we were doing. So, Madam Speaker, what I can ask as the Chair of Education, you give us more time we visit the 8 classes, because you will not get any other information on these 17 classes unless the angel comes from heaven. This is what we got at the ground. This is the real things that the committee got. These are the real findings that we got on the ground. And Honorable Mwanga, I think what you are telling us at the floor of the House, these are things that you should have brought to the committee. You are a member of the Education Committee. You could have brought, if they are MCAs who are given contracts by the governor.
Point of clarification, Madam Speaker. I have not said they are MCAs who were given contract. I have not said so. It's only that members did not wait for me to land. Yeah? I did not say so. That is a misconception. I did not say members were given contract. I did not say members were given contract. I said this was the time members were awarded 10 million. That is what I said. I did not say members were given contract.
Order, members. Order.
They are awarded for what? So, Madam Speaker, no. You could have come to the committee. You were present in all meetings. That is what exactly, as a member of Education Committee, we expected from you. So, Madam Speaker, I plead that you give us more time. We go through the 8 classes. Then we include the 8 classes in our report. Then we will come to table it when it is complete. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I can see that you've already caught my eye, Madam. Thank you, Madam. But what I wanted to add on this report, it is true that, Madam, the committee has done a very nice job, because they have done a good sampling. Out of the 17, they have already a sample of 9, which is already representative enough. But it looks like, Madam Speaker, there is a problem in that department. Now that we are receiving a report of 2014, when Mr. Monga and the likes were sitting, up to where we are, then, Madam, I think it's high time that the committee will sit down and investigate about all the classes. Because you are doing already that. Yeah, that is why actually I wanted to say we broaden up. What Mheshimiwa Ngui you are saying, the committee has already found itself in the House. Let us not throw that committee, because it has a report. It has taken a lot of time. But let us incorporate it so that we have a thorough investigation of all the committee. It does not matter whether it was my mother or my father who did this. Mr. Monga, let me correct you. During that time, you are saying there was no 10 million that were allocated to members. 10 million were portioned towards to undertake projects which were of priority, whether they were roads, whether they were classes, and each member allocated monies depending on the needs of the ward. So, Madam Speaker, it does not matter whether it was my company, whether it is your company that did this short job here. The truth of the matter is that we must see a proper conclusion to this. And I am saying here, if that report eventually comes in that nature, then people are going to be found culpable, and we shall be putting people into what we saw last night here. But let me tell you, what we saw last night in Kenya should now be a awakening call. those of us who are fond of doing these shoddy things here, this is the end of those times here. Let Gachagwa's blood wash all the Kenyans. Let Gachagwa's blood wash this nation.
Thank you,
Madam Speaker.
Let me make a determination on
Madam
this.
Speaker, allow me to raise under Standing Order number 78. Standing Order number 78 allows a member to speak twice on a particular issue.
No, you know, and I'm now making a determination.
But I've risen on Standing Order number 78, Madam Speaker. And this is what I want to say, Madam Speaker. With your permission, I'm not debating.
Don't debate the matter. Don't give any clarification. You are a member of that committee. You should have raised those things.
Madam Speaker,
Don't know
Madam
exactly
Speaker,
what you want to say.
with your permission, please. I've said I'm rising on Standing Order number 78,
What do you
which
want to
allows
say,
a
honorable
member
what
to
do you want
speak twice on
say?
a particular issue. One,
Proceed and tell
the
me.
members started ringing me before I landed. I did not say that it is the former MCAs who were doing these contracts. I did not say that. And Honorable Ngunga has put it right that words were wanted. I wanted just to make it clear that these classes, all of them, Madam Speaker, and I have a report here, all of these classes were done in the year 2018 to 2019.
That is
And I'm
okay. When we
supporting
come
this
to the-
report 100%.
Honorable member, when we come to debating, you can raise your issues that time and say, this is not true.
And
I'm wondering, you are a member of that committee. Why is it that you
Madam
want to debate the
Speaker,
matter?
this is an issue I raised about the wording of the topic of the report. I said it should read 2018 to 2021, but I was overruled.
Okay, let me make a determination. Thank you, Honorable Mwanga. Okay, this is the determination of, this is the determination from the chair, the speaker, that I have received a request from the chair of that committee, Honorable Anastasia Mutevu, that we give them more time, we award them more time, that committee to go back and get us a report of the 8 classes, ECD classes that were not investigated because of lack of time. And why I'm doing so, because I know there are members who have talked about sampling out work and sampling out some ECD classes to be used for purposes of this report. To me, I don't think that is the right way to go, because there must be site visits to each ECD class to get the status of each ECD class. When we sample out and pick a few out of the entire ECD classes, then we'll not be very articulate on the matters, we'll not understand some of the matters, we won't be able to get the real thing, the real report. So at this point, I want to give them that request, to allow them that request to go back. But before I even make those pronouncements, I want also to advise Honorable Mwanga, if you are a member of a committee, whatever questions you want to raise, please raise them within the committee. Don't come now and try to undo or try to divert from what you have discussed as a committee. It doesn't give a very good impression, because it means that this report is not even legitimate, it is not owned by all members of that committee. That is what appears to us who are not part of that committee investigation. So let's just abide ourselves and be bound by whatever we have discussed in our own committees, so that when we come to the floor of the House, we are speaking from the same page and we don't have differences. So at this point, I want to ask the committee concerned to go back to the drawing table, visit the 8 remaining committees, remaining ECD class centers, and bring us a report here, a conclusive report here within 30 days from today. Members, I still want to remind you that you have all the powers to summon any CCM you need to appear before you, any CO you want to appear before you, to summon them when invitation, the cordial invitation fails, to summon them, and I am ready to sign those summons. And those summons give us the status of a High Court of Kenya status, in that if somebody does not appear before you having been summoned by this house, then you can be convicted and sentenced by this house through the speaker. So those are the powers we have, and we must use them. Not to ruin, but to build. Okay? Yeah, so members, that's how I do, given this matter, I believe the committee concerned is satisfied with what I have said. Thank you. So at this point, we are not going to continue with the debate. We shall leave it at that until further notice. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, approval of report on financial statements of the county government of Machakos executive for half year for the period ended 31st of December 2023.
May I invite Honorable Francis Kitaka, Chairperson Finance and Revenue Collection, to come forward and take us through that motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am Honorable Francis Kitaka, representing Ndalane Ward and the Chair, Finance and Revenue Collection Committee. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that, pursuant to Standing Order 195, this House adopts the report of the Finance and Revenue Collection Committee on financial statements of the County Government of Machakos Executive for half year for the period ended 31st December 2022, as tabled in the House on 8th October 2024. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. You may call a mover. Sorry, a seconder.
I hereby call Honorable Daniel Muindi to second.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you too. I now propose the question that, pursuant to Standing Order 190, Suborder 5, this House adopts the report of the Finance and Revenue Collection Committee on financial statements of the County Government of Machakos Executive, that is, for half year for the period ended 31st December 2023, as tabled in the House on 8th October 2024. At this point, I invite Honorable the mover to come forward and highlight on the report before we debate it.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to go through the chairpersons forward, if you allow me.
Yes.
And probably I maybe take the House through, I don't know whether I'll do the background.
Maybe committee observation.
Or maybe we can do the committee observations
And recommendations.
and recommendations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, the county executive submitted a report of the financial statements for the county government of Machakos for half year for the period ended 31st December 2023 in respect to the financial year 2023-2024 on 31st January 2024. Pursuant to Section 166 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, the committee interrogated the statement as per its mandate as provided under Standing Order 195 and the second schedule of standing orders, which include all matters relating to the management of county public finance and revenue collection. The county government of Machakos in the financial year 2023-2024 had projected revenues of 14,747,2,447 shillings, comprising of Kenya shillings 4,106,879,462 shillings from own source revenue. Kenyan shillings 10,640,122,985 shillings from exchequer releases. Honorable Speaker, as per the financial statement in half year for the period 2023-2024, the county executive managed to realize 5,442,054,562 shillings in revenues, representing 30% performance rate against total budgeted receipts of 14,747,002,447. You can refer to table 3.1 on the revenue performance. Honorable Speaker, the county had projected to collect generated receipts, that is own source revenue, of up to 4 billion by the end of the period. By the end of the period under review, collection were only at 323 million, that 1,005 shillings, representing 8% of the total target. You can refer to table 3.3. The chief officer attributed decrease in own source revenue to which affected some revenues streams like land rates, building approvals, single business permits, and agricultural produce. On expenditure, the county actual expenditure for the half financial year for the period ended 31st December 2023 amounted to 4,235,654,310 shillings, which included actual acquisition of assets amounting to 16,638,526 shillings. Compensation of employees at Kenya shillings 2,412,406,151 shillings. Use of goods and services at 790,604,251 shillings. Social security benefits at 87,995,117 shillings, and transfer to other government units and other grants amounting to 1,016,000 16,005,382 shillings. Honorable Speaker, in comparison between the receipts of 5,185,889,223 shillings and payments of 4,235,654,310 shillings, reveal that the county executive did not spend 950,234,913 shillings as at the end of the period under review. Further, analysis shows that the executive spent 46% of the total receipts on compensation of employees. This is against the 35% maximum mark set in Section 107(2)(c) Public Finance Management Act, read together with Regulation 25, 1B of the Public Finance Management County Governments Regulation 2015. Use of goods and services was at 790,604,251 shillings, representing 15% of the total receipts. In addition, acquisition of assets was at 16,638,526 shillings, representing 0.3% of the total receipts. This was alarming budget absorption rate at half year. The total county budget absorption for recurrent was at 36.53%, while development was at 0.32%. On pending bills, the county executive reported an increasing trend on pending bills. As at 31st December 2023, Honorable Speaker, the total pending bills amounted to 3,727,801,002 shillings, comprising of pending accounts payable, that's bills from various departments, of 3,083,801,002 shillings, comprising of and 2 shillings, comprising of pending accounts payable, comprising of also staff payables, retirement benefits of 325,505,170 shillings, and other pending payables, those are amounts due to national government, of 282,735,477 shillings. The chief officer informed the committee that accumulation of pending bills was occasioned by delays in exchequer releases and decline in own source revenue. To deal with the pending bills, the chief officer informed the committee that the county has come up with a detailed payment plan whereby payments of the bills that have been committed will be done before incurring further expenditure. The committee observed that the expenditure on development was very low at 0.32%. That own source revenue target was too high for the county, and collection has contracted further to a minimum rates of 8% of the projected total collection. The county pending bills have been on the upward trend despite various advisories by the National Treasury and the Assembly that there were need to control and pay pending bills. The pending bills seem to be on an upward trajectory. Honorable Speaker, the compensation to employees was above the threshold of that 5% stipulated by the regulation 25(1)B of PFM Act 2015 at 46% of the total expenditure in the period under review. That the county did not receive any conditional grant by the end of the period under review. Honorable Speaker, the committee, having considered the report on the half-year financial statements of the county for the year 2023-2024 and the responses of the chief officer for the finance and revenue management, recommends that the Department of Finance, Economic Planning, Revenue Management, and ICT, 1, ensure prudent utilization of development funds. The Department of Finance to put up plans for each department to lay down procurement plans on time. 2, set achievable revenue targets to deal with the increasing trend of pending bills and develop revenue enhancement strategies to ensure that local revenue was not shrinking but expanding. This can involve revision of valuation roles for land rates, setting revenue targets for each ward as dictated by revenue potential mapping per ward, and enhancing revenue collection, monitoring, and reduce revenue diversion.
Point of order taken.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm raising on standing order number 27 on extension of time. Honorable Speaker, that aware that standing order number 27 is of order 2 providing that the Speaker shall interrupt business at 12:30 p.m. for the morning sitting. Aware that Standing Order number 27, Sub-Order 3, providing that the House may resolve to extend its sitting time. Aware that Standing Order number 27, Sub-Order 4, requires a motion to extend sitting time to be moved at least 30 minutes before the time appointed of adjournment. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the motion that this House resolves to extend its sitting until the business in the order paper is concluded. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I call upon the Deputy Speaker to second my motion.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, DS, Honorable. I now propose the question that this House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is concluded. I now put the question that this House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is concluded. As many are of the opinion saying ayes, as many are of the contrary opinion saying nay, the ayes have it. Honorable Kitaka, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would wish to continue. Honorable Speaker, I would request that under the committee observations, because they are similar with the ones that we are having at the end of the report, if you allow me, members, we can read them as I finish on the responses of the Chief Officer. I'll do the responses of Chief Officer, then we can go to committee observations, and then we can do recommendations.
Page 13.
Page 13, yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The committee engaged the Chief Officer, and we have the following. The committee sought clarification from the Chief Officer on a number of issues of concern on the report void letter that is written there, dated 10th June, February, dated 6th February 2024, and another reference that was dated on the 3rd April 2024. The committee also invited the Chief Officer, Finance and Chief Officer Revenue Management to make further clarification on the report void letter indicated there on 23rd April 2024. You can refer to Appendix 1. The Chief Officer Revenue appeared before the committee on his own behalf and on the behalf of the Chief Officer Finance on 29th April 2024 and addressed the concerns. The concerns that were addressed are as follows. Challenges and reasons that decline of revenue collected compared to the same financial year 2022-2023, noting that was immediately after elections and COVID-19, and many businesses were just recovering. B, strategies. What are the strategies put in place to maximize revenue collection? C, strategies put in place to clear the huge amount of pending bills. Honorable Speaker, on decline of on-source revenue was as a result, he said, was a result of reduced capacity in terms of revenue staff workforce. The Department of Revenue Management had close to 200 employees due for retirement this year, and additional staff within less than 5 years of retirement. This has led to reduced productivity in the department, especially on field collected revenues. And to cushion this, 438 new revenue staff have been onboarded on a contract basis. Honorable Speaker, in addition, the department pointed out that the revenue collection was physically involving and require officers to walking around and waking up early, especially on field collected revenues. The officers nearing retirement from 55 years and above were cited to have challenges and this impacted their productivity. The Chief Officer Revenue Management further informed the committee that officers due to retire get a notice of retirement 6 months to the due date.
The notice requests them to start preparing and get their leave days ready. During this period, the officers' preoccupation is about exit and life after retirement, and productivity goes down. Further, new officers have to be retrained, and it takes time before their productivity reached optimum. It is these reasons that led to decline of revenue collection in first and second quarters, according to the CEO. Honorable Speaker, on challenges that faced our quarries leading to reduced collections, the Chief Officer has this to say. Lukenya Quarry revenue collection was majorly affected by the reduced rate of construction in the county, and especially in Nairobi in the first quarter financial year 2023-2024. This led to reduced usage of building materials produced by Lukenya Quarries. Lukenya Quarry revenue collection has been affected majorly by extended El Nino rainfall between October 2023 and January 2024. Strategies to put in place to maximize revenue collection. Honorable Speaker, the Chief Officer informed the committee that the following strategies have put in place in order to maximize revenue collection. A, 1, continuous enforcement by teams comprising of sub-county administrators, ward administrators, and inspectorate officers. 2, involvement of respective departments in revenue collection. 3, automation and revenue collection and linking of revenue system to M-Pesa payment to allow only electronic payment. 4, regular rotation of revenue staff. 5, employment of new 438 revenue staff. Honorable Speaker, in a meeting, the Chief Officer Finance informed the committee that they are paying the audited pending bills on fast in, fast out, and they have budgeted 100 million for the next financial year. Committee observations. Honorable Speaker, the committee observed as follows: that expenditure on development was very low at 6%, that on-source revenue target was too high for the county, and collection has contracted further to minimum rates of 8% of the projected total collection, that the county pending bills have been on the upward trend despite various advisories by the National Treasury and the Assembly that there need to control and pay pending bills The pending bills we need to note that pending bills seem to be not coming down. Honorable Speaker, the compensation of employees was above the threshold of 35% stipulated by Regulation 25(1)B of PFM Act, Regulations 2015, at a percentage of 46% of the total expenditure in the period under review. Honorable Speaker, that the county is not keenly paying pending bills within the period under review. You realize that we had only 100 million for the pending bills of over 3 billion. Honorable Speaker, we also noticed that the county did not receive any conditional grant by the end of the period under review. We also observed that the department while reporting is not doing comparison within full year and in the previous financial year. Honorable Speaker, committee recommendations are as follows. The committee, having considered that report on half-year financial statements of the county for the year 2023-2024 and the responses of the Chief Officer for Finance and Revenue Management, recommends that the Department of Finance, Economic Planning, Revenue Management, and ICT, 2, 1, to ensure prudent utilization of development funds, the Department of Finance to put up plans for each department to lay down procurement plans on time. 2, put achievable revenue targets to avoid increasing trend of pending bills, and develop revenue enhancement strategies to ensure that local revenue was not shrinking but expanding. This can involve revision of valuation roles for land rates, setting revenue targets for each ward as dictated by revenue potential mapping per ward, and enhancing revenue collection monitoring to reduce revenue diversion. 3, advise departments whose human resource has gone beyond the ceiling to manage the expected threshold. Honorable Speaker, to formulate a framework on how to pay the pending bills and forward it to the Assembly for consideration within 60 days. 5, the Department to forward tabulated information on the term and benefits pending bills for retired and contractual employees to the Assembly within 30 days. 6, the Department of Finance to make sure that all conditions given by development partners are met at budgeting stage. That the department, while reporting, should do comparison within the same period in the previous financial year. Honorable Speaker, I therefore table this report for Finance and Revenue Collection Committee on the half-year financial statements for the County Government of Machakos for the period ended 31st December 2023. And hereby thank your office and the office of the Secretariat and the entire committee for the support that you accorded the committee in the preparation of the report. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I invite members to debate this motion? Members, where are you? Honorable Maida.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In the absence of a contributor, let me take the floor. Madam, so I want to take the opportunity to thank this committee for such a comprehensive and self-explanatory report. But I'm a little bit still perturbed by the percentage of the development percentage. Madam Speaker, listening to the report, and the county managed is that period to absorb only 0.32%, less than 1%, leaves more questions than answers. And that's a period that had already covered almost 6 months, close to almost 5 months, because our financial year starts from 1st of July. And this report was for 5 months, Madam Speaker. And it's quite sad that if for 5 months the executive managed to absorb less than 1% in terms of development, and that 5% in terms of recurrent expenditure, Madam Speaker. I want to remind my fellow honorable member, and especially the elected members, with this trend, if this trend will have to continue like this, with this kind of percentages, honorable members, especially the elected members, I can assure you we are going home. There's no shortcut about that. If we cannot be able to do more than 10% with 0.32% for 5 months, then that means at the end of the year, probably we get the NTA financial report for the period between 1st of January 2024 to 31st June of 2024, Madam Speaker, or 30th of June, of May. If we will not have realized 10% and then the trend continues like that for the next 1 or 2 years, honorable members whom we are elected, I can assure you we are going home. And that will also be putting their lives and the lives of the special elect members at risk. So, honorable members, I think we need now to take this matter seriously and ensure that the percentage threshold that is required by law is at least achieved despite the hard economic times. If we could be talking between 10 to 15, then I think we can be saying that at least there's something that is being realized in almost every ward, Madam Speaker. Yesterday, the Honorable Minority Leader took the committee through projects that have stalled in his ward. And I'm sure if those wards, those projects had been achieved, then the absorption rate would be really like about 2, 3, 4%, plus other wards, Madam Speaker. Notwithstanding, Madam Speaker, this issue of pending bills is killing suppliers. The issue of pending bills is becoming a thorn in the flesh. Madam Speaker, it is so sad that as we even sit here and debate this report, we have contractors who have never been paid from 2013, 2014, 2015 to date. And Madam Speaker, those contractors and suppliers gave services to this county that we are even enjoying to date. You will hear of a contractor saying, I did some refurbishments at the level 4 hospital, I constructed a road in a certain place, I constructed a classroom that we were discussing in here, and it's already in use. It has never been paid. Madam Speaker, I think the committee has given us a very good recommendation that within 60 days, Madam Speaker, it is now high time that the county executive tables a report before this house, because a task force was formed to investigate the pending and authenticated bills, and they have never been brought in the floor of this house, Madam Speaker. It is on this time that, Madam Speaker, now we have to take this report seriously and have the executive table before this house the actual pending debts, so that they can be paid based on the year which when these bills were approved. Madam Speaker, it is quite unfair and unjust to pay a contractor who worked last financial year, that is 2023-2024. Yet there is a contractor who has never been paid since 2013-2014, and they did genuine and legitimate services to this county. Madam Speaker, it's unfair, and it is high time, members. We know that today we are MCS in this house. Tomorrow we will be contracted and service providers outside there. And whatever we will do here, the justice that we are going to serve to those who are outside is the same measure that might even occur to us when we leave this assembly. It is high time we ensure that these pending bills are cleared. Madam Speaker, we will better do 5% development, but ensure that we are not facing the curse of people who did services in this county, and they are going through hell because they have never been paid, and they gave us services that we are enjoying. So as I support the report, Madam Speaker, those two key issues, we need to check on the issue of our pending bills and the issue of our development expenditure absorption. 0 point is a big shame. We need to be talking of 15% and above so that we can be able to have some bit of guarantee of our comeback. But with that trend, honorable members, I'm not sending a threat. We might be on our way home if we don't change. I support the report.
Thank you very much, Honorable Maida. More contributions, Honorable Judas Ndawa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want also to give my views on this. Honorable Speaker, I will start by congratulating our most able chair, together with the committee members, for burning midnight oil to ensure that we have this report today. Honorable Speaker, I happen to be a member of that committee, and during committee meetings, this is the only committee which is very serious with their work. And when it comes to issue of inviting,
point of order.
Just cool down. Let me conclude.
Madam Speaker, is it in order for the minority leader to insinuate that other committees are not competent? Yet we have just received a report from the Department of the Committee on Education that is so well researched, accurate and thorough. He should withdraw that statement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In fact, I'm comparing this committee with the Education Committee, where members of that committee are denying their own report. That is why I'm saying this one is different.
Okay, I propose.
We witnessed this morning.
Honorable Ndawa.
Yes.
For the sake of peace,
yes,
withdraw the statement.
Okay, I'm going to restructure the statement. Honorable Speaker, this is one of the committee which is very serious with their work. Okay. Let me leave it there. Again, Honorable Speaker, it is. I'm a member of that committee, and I know how the members of that committees are determined to do their work.
Point of order.
And the reason why I'm saying so.
Honorable Ndawa, I said you withdraw the statement.
I withdrawn. Let's proceed. Honorable Speaker, I just want to say thank you to our chair, to committee members, for coming up with a very brief and self-explanatory report. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to labor much. I request members to just deal with the issue of observation and recommendation, because those two parts conclude everything. Honorable Speaker, what I would request is that the reports which are brought to this house the recommendations given by the committee, let those recommendations be followed to the latter. Let whatever has been recommended to be done, let it be done. Honorable Speaker, from the observation, we have seen now from at A, we start with A, committee observation. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the percentage, the expenditure on development was very low at 6%. 6%. Not 10. 6. So it means if we multiply, because it's a half-year report, we multiply by 2, we will only have done 10. And the 10 is it's very low. So I'm requesting that we adjust. We adjust so that at least we be somewhere, at least. This is too low. In fact, if we were marking, this one would be either in D or D minus. D or D minus somewhere there. Or E. So let's be careful. The other item, Honorable Speaker, is about the issue of pending bills. That is Part C. Part C saying the pending bills have not been, have been on upward trend, despite various advisories. I'm very sure we get advisories from even those who give us money. The controller say you must give us the way you are going to reduce your pending bills, and we commit ourselves. Once we commit ourselves on how to reduce the pending bills, let's honor our promise, so that the pending bills do not go up instead of going downwards. Again, Honorable Speaker, the other item is item what? Which item? The item B, the on-source revenue target was too high. We gave ourselves a very high target that whatever we collected cannot be even a half. If you get below half, it means you have not passed the test you are doing. So in the future, let us give a realistic target so that we are not seen as if we are not doing what is expected of us. Going to the observation, Honorable Speaker, to the recommendations, not observation. Item number 1, we want to ensure, within the report says, we ensure prudent utilization of development funds. The Department of Finance to put up plans to each department to lay down procedure plans, procurement plans on time. Honorable Speaker, you remember we ended the issue of what? Absorption rate. Absorption. That problem is going to be cured by this recommendation. If we go by this, I'm very sure we will have cured this. Number 2 is a repetition of what is in the observation about the target. I don't want to dwell on that. The other issue, the department, while reporting, the committee recommends, as you bring us the report, kindly give us a report of the previous year so that we can do comparison. Otherwise, if we rely on 1 year, 1 calendar year, and we are not seeing how we performed the previous year, we may not be able to tell whether we are progressing or we are going downwards. So this recommendation is very okay and is very key. Then the other issue is about the conditions given by the partners. I'm very sure when we are talking about this condition on grants and the rest, there are conditions that are supposed to be followed. The committee saw it wise to advise that for us to get more funding, we must adhere to this condition. Otherwise, if we don't follow the condition, we'll be jeopardizing the issue of getting more funding. Then the committee also recommends that the department to forward tabulated information on the retirement benefits putting, pending bills for retired and contracted employees on the assembly within 30 days. Every time we are taught about employees pending bills, now we have given a time frame, 30 days. 30 days, and let the recommendation be followed. If we say 30 days, let's make sure the timeline given by the committee is followed to the latter, so that we can be able to address whatever need to be addressed in good time. So, Honorable Speaker, I don't want to read much because every member has this in his wall. Honorable Speaker, the committee has given a very good report, and I will recommend the committee to continue doing the same, and then other committee. And whenever a report is brought here, those recommendations, regardless of which committee is that, the recommendations are very key. Let the department concerned go by the recommendations of the committee. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support the report.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Sorry. Sorry for that. At this point, would invite the mover. Sorry, Honorable DS, I had not seen your hand up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Stephen Mwande, representing the great people of Kalakala. And Madam Speaker, I'll start by applauding the committee for the work and the recommendations that they've given. I also support that they are so good recommendations. Although there is something that I have noticed, Madam Speaker, I believe it's good. Maybe we see how best we can do to separate some of these duties. Because in budget committee, we earned exactly a similar report that as budget committee reports through the COB. I'm sure this house discussed about the half-year report for the last financial year through the budget committee. So they are somehow so similar. And so I think it would be prudent maybe if we could separate both so that we may be getting these reports from maybe one entity. Because at some point we might find us that giving, maybe contradicting information from the same house, Madam Speaker. It's also important to note that this was the first 6 months. I've also noticed that it was the first 6 months of the year. And you know, sometimes as committees we report what has been paid, not what has been done. So I also believe that with the 6% development monies that had been used by then, that is what had been paid, the 6%, but not what had been done. It is the same year when you will hear Honorable Dawa saying that he got 93 million for the construction of his level 5 hospital. He'll also say about the 29 million for ECD, for the daycare classes that was constructed, and many other projects that we've received in our wards. So as they pull up, because it's good, in fact, the area that we need to concentrate so much on is on the pending bills, Madam Speaker. I think the executive has not been doing well or justice to the contractors and suppliers. There are people who are suffering so much outside there when we go in our wards and identify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects that have been done by the contractors and yet they've not been paid. I feel for them, and I think it's an area that needs serious concentration and make sure that contractors are paid on time. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I at this point invite the mover of the motion to reply?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to appreciate the honorable members for supporting this report, and I would want to draw to your attention that on the observation where we indicated 6%, think that was a typo. It remains at 0.32 at that period.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just a typo. The other thing is, Honorable Speaker, I would seek maybe your input, maybe after consultation, and see whether it is possible for us to have a ceiling and agree that a particular percent, we are only limited to a particular percent of pending bills to avoid this recurrence and upward trajectory of the pending bills. However, you realize that each and every financial year, there are also more accumulation of the pending bills. Honorable members, also you realize that we set 100 million to take care of the pending bills. 3 billion can only be paid in 30 years if we work with 100 million every financial year. I don't think that is tenable. But I am very sure that with a good working plan, this can be achieved so that we can also save our people who have been readily available to offer services to our county. Honorable Speaker, I appreciate the support from our members, and we commit as the Finance Committee to keep on working hard and make sure that things flow. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. What amuses me a lot about these pending bills is, for instance, we are still making budgets, allocating funds on different vote heads, including development, but the pending bills continue accumulating. That's something that really, I don't get it. So I think there are things we don't really extract when we are when we invite the executive to come and give us information. Perhaps we should also dig further to find out why is it that pending bills continue accumulating. We are giving budgets, allocating budgets, there is consumption of the budget, and the pending bills continue accumulating. There is a mystery there, honorable members. There is a mystery. Yeah, I may not be very good in this calculation, but logic alone just tells me that there is something not adding up. So we have to pull up our socks on our oversight, because that is how we get all this information, that is how we operate, that is the mandate we have, that we can extract this information. You had requested for some limit. I didn't get exactly what limit this one is, that we have some, we limit pending bills to some level. I don't know, because there's that mystery I have just talked about. Honorable Maida, are you?
We consulted with the Honorable Finance Chair.
Is it on the same issue?
Yes.
Okay.
How did we, I sought his intervention in this matter. Madam Speaker, if our development budget is 35% of the total county budget, this assembly, I think, can even, and that we need to be guided, whether it is possible or not possible, whereby we say that we are going to put a capping and say our outstanding or pending bills shall not exceed more than 5% or 10% of our total development expenditure. If the National Assembly right now is capping, borrowing, then as an assembly can think of and say, we will cap our pending bills by not more than a certain percentage as per our development budget. Whereby, if we say our development budget is 35% of the total budget, then we say 10%. The executive cannot exceed on 10% with the pending bills. So we will have a budget of 25% remaining to execute development. So how that is achievable or workable, Madam Speaker, then needs further consultation. So maybe you can seek advice from the budget experts and see whether it is possible. Because if it is possible, Madam Speaker, and we say we cannot exceed our budget, our pending bills by more than 10%, Madam Speaker, will have done a lot of justice in terms of development to this county assembly.
Point of information, Madam Speaker, on the same.
Okay, Honorable Member.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, some of the reasons why we have these pending bills may be external, may not be within our reach as a county. Because as you are aware, Honorable Speaker, once contract are awarded and the contractor does the work, and maybe by the time when the contract is complete, the national government delays in disbursing the fund. Then we go to the next financial year. Of course, now what has jumped that financial year becomes a pending bill. That is why instead of going downwards, they are going upwards. But we need to rethink and maybe do further consultation, as Mheshimiwa is saying, to see how best we can be able to handle. But I'm very sure some are external. They are not within our mandate.
Thank you. Whether external or internal, they just remain pending bills. And we have to do something about it. And as you've requested, Honorable Chair of Finance, we need to seek audience with experts of budgets and see how best we can do so that we can have this capped out. So that at a certain level, we say it can't go beyond. The spending bills must remain at this level. And if they go beyond there, then there should be a problem now there. And we have to find it to take action. Yeah, then I now put the question that pursuant to Standing Order 190, Suborder 5, this House adopts the report of the Finance and Revenue Collection Committee on financial statement of the county government of Machakos, in brackets, executive, for the half year for the period ended 31st December 2023 as tabled in the House on 8th October 2024. As many are of the opinion say ayes. As many are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, alteration of the motion, alteration of the calendar and adjournment of the House.
May I invite Honorable Nicholas Nzioka, Leader of Majority, to come forward and take us through the motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that, notwithstanding the resolutions of the Assembly made on 20th February 2024, that is approval of Assembly calendar, 21st February, 15th May, 18th June, 9th July, 6th, 14th, 17th, 27th August, and that September 2024, that is alteration of the calendar, and pursuant to Standing Order number 25, the Assembly resolves that, 1, the calendar, that is regular session, for the third session of the third Assembly be altered to adjourn its sitting from today, Wednesday, 9th October 2024, after the morning sitting, and resume its regular sittings on Tuesday, 12th November 2024 at 10 a.m., and that the Assembly calendar, that is regular sessions, for the third sessions be altered accordingly. Number 2, that any documents that are submitted to the Assembly where the House is on recess, the Speaker commits them to the relevant committee and communicates them on resumption. I call upon the Honorable Leader of Minority to second.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I do second, and the reason why I'm seconding, Honorable Speaker, as every member is aware here, we have an annual activity for all the counties within the Republic. And that activity is going to take place in the next week. And again, Honorable Speaker, members also need to have time to go the committees to go and do site visits so that they can be able to bring reports to this house so that at least the house can be able to transact business. So, Honorable Speaker, there is urgent need for us to alter the calendar so that we can accommodate all these activities. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I now propose the question that, notwithstanding the resolutions of the Assembly on 20th February 2024, approval of Assembly calendar, 21st February, 15th May, 18th June, 9th July, 6th, 14th, 27th of August, and 3rd September 2024, alteration of the calendar, and pursuant to Standing Order 25, the Assembly resolves that 1. The calendar regular session for the 3rd session of the 3rd Assembly be altered to adjourn its sitting from today, Wednesday, 9th October 2024, after the morning sitting, and resume its regular sittings on Tuesday, 12th November 2024 at 10 a.m. And that the Assembly calendar regular session for the 3rd session be altered accordingly. 2, that any documents that are submitted to the Assembly while the House is on recess, the Speaker commits them on relevant committees and communicates them on resumption. I now invite members to debate this motion. Members, it is your turn. It's a consensus. I now put the question that, notwithstanding the resolutions of the Assembly made on 20th February 2024, approval of Assembly calendar, 21st February, 15th May, 18th June, 9th July, 6th, 14th, and 27th of August, and 3rd September 2024. Alteration of the calendar and pursuant to Standing Order 25, the Assembly resolves that 1. The calendar regular sessions for the 3rd session of the 3rd Assembly be altered to adjourn its sittings from today, Wednesday, 9th October 2024, after the morning sitting, and resume its regular sittings on Tuesday, 12th November 2024 at 10 a.m. And that the Assembly calendar regular sessions for the 3rd session be altered accordingly. 2, that any documents that are submitted to the Assembly while the House is on recess, the Speaker commits them to the relevant committee and communicates them on resumption. As many are of the opinion, say ayes. Ayes. As many are of the contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it. The House adjourns to Tuesday, 12th November 2024 at 10 a.m. See you then.